Nostalgia hoops, nostalgia sports and culture. Like, share, subscribe, all that. Brittney Griner. So, according to crime.com, Brittney Griner's Russia detention has been extended another 30 days. And this is an article by Ariana Garcia, May 13th, 2022 at 9:31. The Houston native was also denied a request for house arrest, reports say. Russian authorities have extended WNBA All-Star Brittney Griner's pretrial detention another 30 days after she appeared before a Moscow court. A lawyer for the Houston native told the Associated Press Friday. Authorities also denied the Houston native a request for house arrest, according to a report by ESPN. So pretty much they pushed the court date back another 30 days. Griner's lawyer Alexander Boykov told the Associated Press he believed the short extension of the detention indicated the case would come to trial soon. She has been detained for nearly 3 months. Was detained at Moscow in February after authorities accused her of allegedly carrying vape cartridges containing cannabis oil in her luggage. The offense could carry a maximum penalty of 10 years in prison. Last week, the Biden administration released a statement saying the 31-year-old athlete is being wrongfully detained. Griner's colleagues have begun to speak out more publicly about the case following the declaration. Griner's blah blah blah. It has been 84 days. Okay, so we have Brianna Stewart on Twitter today. It has been 84 days since our friend Brittney Griner has been wrongfully detained. It's time for her to come home, and she tagged the White House, said they're paying attention, and we're counting on you. Hashtag we are BG. And WNBA champion Alicia Clark also shared a similar message Friday with the same hashtag stating it's been 429 days since I've played basketball, but that means nothing compared to the 85 days of our sister Brittney Griner being wrongfully detained in Russia. And she tagged the White House as well. And my thoughts on this is this. If the you remember when ASAP Rocky was locked up, he got out pretty fast under the last administration. We seen a lot of America and American citizens at least being put in first. In regards to prison situation, we seen with Kodak coming home. We seen Wayne getting pardoned. We seen a lot of specifically Black Americans getting a break from the last administration. But we are all watching right now the current administration seems to or actions would show that other things come before American citizens. Because if I'm in there and I really care about Brittney Griner, her well being, before I step in a situation that could inflame Brittney getting home, I'm going to make sure Brittney can get home, and then I may assist somebody that's not American. So she was locked up before this conflict became major to this point. Before we stepped in the situation with Ukraine and Russia, Brittney Griner was detained by Russia. Before we make it public that we're standing strong against Russia, we need to prioritize the American citizen. And that wasn't done. And we further inflamed that relationship in those negotiations by constantly giving weapons, money, and just approved 48 more billion. I think Rand Paul might have just struck it down. I think I seen that on Twitter or something, just struck it down. But we further been inflaming that situation and possibly making her circumstances worse, because if we know this is something that you care about and you're aiding a direct opposition to us, I'm speaking from a perspective of just in general, then why but specifically, why would Russia do you a favor when you're aiding their opposition at the moment, which is Ukraine, with money and so many weapons that I think it was like a rocket company had to. They said they won't be able to produce this shoulder rocket for a few years because they're out of material to make it. So you strongly took a side with one of our own, a black American citizen, being detained, and you knew that that would further inflame the negotiations, make it more hostile, make it tougher for her. But you didn't have her in mind. You had another country in mind. It's not even a part of NATO. So for me, that's just something I would say, pay attention to, continue to monitor this situation, and consider all things like this. I'm not saying this or that. I'm just laying out facts of what happened. It's not for me to say what's right or wrong. It's just a perspective, put myself in a few different shoes, and how I would objectively look at a situation. And these are things that I would keep in mind when I'm voting. You know, who puts us first, you know, a citizen, as a black American citizen, who puts us first, as just a person that loves America, who puts us, so I'm always thinking about things like this, and I just wish this situation could have been handled a bit better. I wish Brittney Griner could have been a priority, and her well-being would have been a priority over us stepping in and helping somebody else strongly before taking care of our own first. Whatever you do after you make sure she's home, that would have been whatever, but my first priority would have been the American citizen, and that's regardless of whether she was black, white, Asian, yellow, brown, green. She could have been whatever color from whatever background. Just because she was an American, it would have been my priority to put the American citizen first before jumping in for another country that we aren't even in there with. So, but what do I know? Nostalgia hoops, nostalgia sports and culture. Let me know what you think. Do you think the situation has been handled right? We're sending prayers out to Brittney Griner and Brittney Griner's family, um, and just hoping for the best, hoping that she can come out of this situation and be greeted with open arms when she does come home, and get the mental, physical, spiritual, emotional support that she'll need reacclimating to America. We're putting positive vibes out there, and we look forward to Brittney Griner putting her feet back on American soil. Like, share, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Am I totally off? Am I missing something? I could be. Like I said, I'm not always right, but that's just how I see it from my perspective. I'm a